Coming up next on the Giants Chronicles podcast, we're talking all things combine talk, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley negotiations, and, of course, today's combine events with the defensive linemen and linebackers. Coming up next. Welcome to Giants Chronicles, episode 9. What is up, everyone? So today was the first day of combine on-field events. So the past couple days have kind of been pressers with the players, with coaches, GMs, and then the front office and coaches could also meet with the prospects. So let's get into it right now, guys. Listen, I mean, there were some good prospects on the field, but first, I kind of want to cover the information with the Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones negotiations. So, not only is Joe Schoen tasked with watching prospects in Indy this week, he's also tasked with in-person negotiations with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley's agents. So, currently, negotiations are going okay, I think is how I would summarize it. The latest, there was a report that came out this afternoon. Joe Schoen, GM, went on Good Morning Football this morning and said, quote this, he has met with QB Daniel Jones' agents Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that gives you a clear timeline that Joe Schoen wants to get this deal done. He's putting a lot of work into it, and that he's not giving up. So, and we'll meet again with them today. So he met again with them today, which is Thursday, and we will continue to talk and see if we can get something done before Tuesday. So, if you do not know, Tuesday is when the NFL trade deadline for the tag is. So is the last day you can tag someone. So, that was a report that came out. That was what came out this morning. And then you had the combine events and mixed in. Then during the combine, actually on NFL Network, Ian Rappaport made a report. The Giants will franchise tag running back Saquon Barkley if they can reach a long-term deal with Daniel Jones before the deadline. That's key. If they want to bring back Saquon, they have to reach that long-term goal or that long-term deal with Daniel Jones. Number one, because the cap hit will be lower, so you can afford to pay Saquon. And number two, because then you can use the tag as leverage to get a final deal done. Rappaport added that the Giants and Daniel Jones have been working on a deal for several hours a day for the last few days. So like I said in the first report, they've been working on it. Like they have been working on it. I mean, talks have been ongoing with Daniel Jones' new representatives. They just switched. Something that came out also is that Joe Schoen said, look, I never spoke to CAA's representatives. Like Daniel Jones had CAA as agency before, and then he switched to Athletes First. Apparently the Giants never even talked to CAA. So they just started talks with Daniel Jones. And look, I think it's going to come down to that $38 million range. I think that's where they need to be in the middle. Maybe Athletes First think he's worth $40 million, and the Giants think he's worth $36 million. They need to be in the middle, $38 million, and I would be okay with that. The QB market is set high, so you kind of have to understand the QB market and not just Daniel Jones's play. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes with Saquon Barkley. Look, Joe Schoen said they're closing the gap. So, that gap is probably between the $12.5, $16 million range APY, average per year. And so I'm assuming closing that gap means around the $13.5 million range. That's where I thought it would settle the whole time. And so that definitely makes a lot of sense for both parties involved. I mean, to me, that's the most logical area they could meet at, and I would be fine with that. I know a lot of Giants fans will be fine with that. So that was the reports that came out today about Daniel Jones. Again, guys, I will be covering these topics daily until something happens. And once something does happen, I will come on here I'll make the podcast. I'll get it out to you as soon as possible. Usually the uploads are at like midnight. It will go right out after I'm making it. It'll go right out. So I can get you the latest on the situation. So we covered that topic. So then we have what the combine is really, really for, which is you're testing the physical attributes of the players. And today, and the on a field work they do. Today was D-line and linebackers, and so some of the results are in and what they, their 4-yard dash times. There were some really impressive guys. So I'm going to just pull up my notes real quick about some combine names I enjoyed. There were a lot of players I like, guys. These were just the ones that specifically stood out for me. So you have defensive tackle Dante Sills from West Virginia. He was someone I liked because of the fact that I know we will be adding defensive tackle depth this year in the draft. I think it's pretty obvious. Shane made it pretty obvious that he doesn't feel great about the depth you have there. So we'll definitely be addressing that in the draft somewhere. But Dante Sills, I didn't know a lot about him before today, but he had a good year at West Virginia. He's explosive. One thing you see at the combine is, are they explosive? And then the other thing is their footwork, stuff like that. And he had good footwork. There were, cone drills, stuff like that. And I thought he performed well in all of those areas. And he had a good punch. I mean, you want your defense tackles to have that good first punch on the offensive lineman, and I thought he had that. And you could see that. And I think it stood out to a lot of people at the combine. So the next player I have is, I'm sorry if I butchered his name, Kalaja Kancey from Pitt. He had a really fast 40 time. I mean, it was pretty fast. Just to give you an idea, it was getting compared to Aaron Donald. Obviously, Aaron Donald went to Pitt, and so he had a really fast 40. That impressed me. That immediately got my eyes on him. Right now, he's projected to go in that first round range, and he's someone that could be on the board as the best available prospect on the board at pick 25 for the Giants. So someone to keep your eye on. He'll probably be an option at pick 25, and listen, everyone's like Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams. Yeah, we have Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. But Leonard Williams, he's getting older, and Dexter Lawrence is a 300-pound-plus man, and you need to have that rotational piece, and sometimes that's worth a first-round pick. People don't remember, but we spent a first-round pick on Dexter Lawrence when we have Dalvin Tomlinson and Leonard Williams on the same team. So someone that Shane preaches, we're going to take the best available player on the board. Maybe you can look into him at 25 if he's still on the board. And if you don't have an option at positions you liked, wide receiver, cornerback, offensive line, those are positions that I think the Giants will target in the first round. And then the final defensive tackle I had is Moro Amaju. I didn't catch his college. I think he's out of Texas actually. But he had good speed as well, which I want. Like, defensive tackles need to have that good speed. They need to get past the offensive lineman, get to the quarterback, and he had that. We'll go over combine times in a bit. I'm just going over players that kind of stood out to me. Then you have someone I've been looking at for a while who I think could fit Wink's system very well. You have linebacker Jack Campbell out of Iowa. So unfortunately, Jack Campbell didn't run a great 40. I was a little disappointed with that. Again, we'll get into their times in the 40s, cone drills, stuff like that in a bit. But we're just talking kind of prospects that stood out to me right now. And yeah, I thought he had good, but he made out for it because he had good footwork, stuff like that. So that was something that I enjoyed as well. Another star who kind of flashed at the combine, he actually ended up having the best combine time in the 40-yard dash out of all of the positions today, which includes edge, defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker. That's what the positions that went today was Owen Papio, who is a linebacker out of Auburn. I mean, he ran a 4.39 as a linebacker. Fast to the point of attack. Don't know a lot about his style. Again, I know he's a middle linebacker, so he's not an edge rusher or anything. And the Giants need to address that room. And so I've been looking at linebackers, and he stood out today. Honestly, he kind of stole the show in the 40-yard dash. And I'm sure he's someone Shane has his eyes on. You know, Shane is looking at every prospect, as we learned today. That he was even looking at quarterbacks. So he's someone that also stood out. And someone that I've been even watching before today, Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. He was actually being looked at as a first-round pick before today, or as a first-round pick in the past. He's kind of dropped in that second-round range. Again, that could rise. He came in with the third best combine 40-yard dash time today with a 4.43. He's someone that's kind of flashed a lot to me too. He's again, like I said, someone I've been watching, someone that's projected to go in that second round range, and he's someone I think the Giants probably have their eye on as well, as they have their eyes on probably all the linebackers. And something that's key with that is I think he's our outside linebacker coach, Drew Wilkins, who like he was doing drills with the linebackers, and so someone like he had a close-up look of the linebackers. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of advantage that gives the Giants. Obviously, it's going to give them some sort of advantage, and so we'll see how that goes as well. Then you have other players that I've been also looking into. Dorian Williams, we're at 4.49 today. He's out of Tulane. He's in that second round, third round range, I believe, is kind of where the mock drafts have him going. And the list really goes on and on. There's a linebacker out of, I think it's his last name, Noah Sewell out of Oregon. He looks good. I like him. I believe he ran a pretty fast 40 time. I can't find. Hold up. I'm trying to find his 40 time for you guys right now. I thought he ran a pretty fast 40 time, but I guess not. I'm having. Oh, here he is, 4.64. So he ran 4.64, which was a little low compared to others. But listen, he was someone that's really dropped. I mean, I had some Giants fans I saw were projecting him as a first-round pick possibly in the beginning of the year, and he's really dropped. I don't know a lot about why his stock has dropped. Again, guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't done a lot of draft work. I've done some draft work. I've done mock drafts on my Instagram account. If you're not already following, please follow it. I've done multiple mock drafts, and he's been someone I have in the third round-ish range, and he dropped a lot. I mean, I don't know the reason. I think he had a bad year this year. I think people were projecting him to have a really good year this year, as he was coming off a good year his junior year or sophomore year, I believe. And so I think that's kind of what happened. He just didn't have a great year this year, but he has proven he can be a good linebacker. And I mean, Jack Campbell, I found Jack Campbell's 40-yard dash time, who came in at 4.65, just a second over Noah Sewell. So two close prospects there that you could get in that the mid range of day 2, day 3-ish range. And so someone I'm interested in, someone I would look into as a Giants fan. Just, have your eyes on him. I know we haven't always known what the players we select day 2, day 3, but I'm trying to do a better job of bringing content to you guys this year, not just based off of the first round talent, but also the mid round talents, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it was a great day at the combine. Obviously the big, boom today was Nolan Smith running that 4.39, which was really impressive. It was pretty crazy. I mean, they showed like a graphic. It was faster than like CMC, Saquon, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs. I mean, you're talking about Pro Bowl caliber players right there alone. So it'll be very interesting to see. I think his draft stock will rise after the combine. A lot of prospects rise. That's kind of the combine. That's after the combine. That's kind of what happens. You had the pro days, the combines, and a lot of prospects rise in this coming these couple months before the draft. If you remember last year, Trayvon Walker out of Georgia rose to even the first pick overall. So that's just an example of something there. And then one last name at linebacker that I knew a little bit about before today, Diane Henley. out of Washington State. I believe I've had him in his second round as a second round pick. So he's someone I'm interested in early third round, late second round. So that's kind of his range he's projected to go in, and someone I'd be interested in. And I mean, I've looked a lot into the linebackers, wide receivers, probably mostly, and cornerbacks mostly. In the past couple months, you had the Senior Bowl, the Combine. I've been watching it all. So very, very interesting. I will not lie to you guys. I didn't take a lot of look at edge rushers. So I don't know a lot about the edge rushers, but I do. What I told you guys is what I knew firm. The defensive tackles I review with you in the beginning of the show, stuff like that. Again, today's one of like the warm up days. For like linebackers, defensive interior, they don't have a lot of drills to do, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, but it's very interesting to see any day. So I'm gonna check. I'm checking right now what tomorrow's events are. I believe it's like the wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. But I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check to confirm that. So tomorrow's the DB. So that's an interesting day. That's a very important day for the Giants. They want to upgrade that DB position. Adoree Jackson, you've seen injury concerns, still can be a number one cornerback, but you want to have more depth there. It was obvious the depth there was not good. Just playing out one example, the Cowboys game, we had like backup cornerbacks in. I'm talking about the Thanksgiving game. And so look, so that would be an important day. Also, safeties. We need to look into safeties. I think Julian Love will end up walking in free agency, so we need to find someone that can be a replacement, not necessarily in our top 100 picks, but maybe in the fourth round, fifth round made. I have some people I'm looking at there. I believe there's like a safety out of Florida, Trey Dean, I think is his name. I've had him in a couple mock drafts, someone I've been interested in. Or there's people like Tyreek Stevenson, Jonathan Ringo. So it's people like that out of Georgia. I enjoy Porter Jr. He's the hot topic. You don't really know where he's going to go. He could go anywhere in the draft. I think Washington likes him a lot, which is unfortunate because I really want him at 25, and Washington's picking ahead of us. But tomorrow is a very important day for the Giants, as today was. Linebacker, defensive interior, O-line. Every day is going to be important for the Giants. They need to upgrade everywhere on this team. There's no area that you can for sure sit there and say we are good at that position. Maybe you want to debate with me, maybe quarterback, but even today they met with Anthony Richardson. So they're looking all over, everywhere. They're going to find the best prospects, and we just have trust in Joe Shea. So I know this is a shorter kind of video, guys. Wasn't a lot to talk about. Again, as the weeks go on, I'll have more content out with you about the draft process and everything like that. This was my day one recap, and I will have a day two recap out for you guys on Saturday, as well as you guys are watching this on Friday. So I appreciate all of you. And yeah, I'm going to just continue this draft content. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, please comment down below what you think about this video, and share with your friends. I mean, I really want to grow this podcast, guys. I enjoy that you guys are enjoying the podcast, but please share, and subscribe if you're not already. So thank you guys. And with that, let's go Big Blue.